and St. Patrick's Day being around the corner. Oh, you can't even see me on that one. Okay, let's see. So St. Patrick's Day is around the corner, and these are some sticks that I'm working on right here. I'm making shillelaghs, I'm making walking sticks, and even some just display pieces. But the real question is, with St. Patrick's Day around the corner, do you have your shillelaghs yet? Stick around. I'm going to make some sticks. Let's have some fun. And this is actually going to be the one I'm going to start on. This is actually going to be more like a shillelagh. At least that's the idea I'm going for, because it's a little bit short. Although, you know what? I'm going to make this a walking stick. That's what this one's going to be. A little one for a little guy, my nephew. I originally had another stick picked out for him, but that stick, I think it's not going to work as well as this one. This one seems perfect for him. There's what I'm looking for. And I got until Friday to get as many of these done as I can, amongst other projects I am working on. Actually, one of them being, this is one of the projects I'm working on. It is a Bowie knife I forged out from a Nicholson file, and I've got a lot of work to do on this, so I'm really under the gun. I hope you guys stick around, enjoy my lives, because I'm going to be going live, I think tonight, actually, and I'll be kicking off the process for this. I might even make this like an annual, like St. Patrick's Day, like burn down, stick making burn down. And I'm going to do a quick little outline of how I want this stick to look. And this will be, if you can see in the white, that's going to be the rough outline of the stick I'm going to be shaping into. It's going to be a knob stick. Don't be a knob. Okay, let's get this in the vise, and then we'll start cutting the pieces. I almost just dropped everything on my pegboard. And this is going to be the stick or the tool I use. This is honestly like one of the coolest tools I've ever gotten. This is a Corona razor tooth. Is it razor tooth? Yeah, razor tooth saw. And it's a 10-inch blade. Absolutely fantastic tool. This is one I've been very impressed with. And I watched a YouTuber known as Project Farm, and he does really cool test videos, and he'll test a whole slew of videos. In my microphone on. He'll test a whole slew of things in one topic. Like on this one, with the hand saws, he tested something like 10 saws or something, and it was honestly pretty impressive what he did for the test. And then I watched some other videos of just people that happen to have a Fiskars or the Corona, and the Fiskars was my original saw I was after, because I'm a fan of Fiskars. I even have Fiskars scissors. I'm just, a big fan. I even have one of their push mowers, the real lawnmower types. And to those that just showed up, hey, I'm Rachel. This is Forge with Femme. I'm out of Detroit, and I am making my first walking stick. This is going to be a baby one, because this one's actually going to be for a baby. It's going to be for my nephew. The original one I made for him, I decided I'm not going to make that one for him. This is going to be the one I make for him, amongst a whole bunch of others, I hope. And they'll be available Friday, hopefully, for the drop. We shall see what happens. Slow and steady. Hopefully how I get there. Not chaos and erratic. But you never know when you're under the gun. And if you guys celebrate St. Patrick's Day, while I get my saw stuck, you guys have any traditions that you celebrate? I once had a friend. She asked me what I did for St. Patrick's Day. I told her I went out with friends and whatnot. And she said, oh, that's really cool. I spent St. Patrick's Day with my son and daughter. And we listened to the Ramones, because what could be more Irish than the Ramones? And I personally, I've never correlated the Ramones with Irish music, but she did. It was pretty funny, actually. And to this day, every time St. Patrick's Day comes around, I think about that. Now when I'm getting close to the bark, I'm going to start slowing it down so I don't scar the bark, because this saw will definitely scar the bejesus out of it. So now that that's cut off, I'm going to start cutting this way. All right. I had an uncle that always said, let the tool do the work. Let the tool do the work. And I was always so hard-headed, and I'm like, I'm the one that's supposed to do the work, and the tool's just there to help. And he goes, it's the other way around, kid. And I think I get it now, but I'm not entirely sure. All right, now let's see. So over here on YouTube, I have Joy from Cemetery, a walking stick. Yep, it's going to be a walking stick for my little nephew, and I'm going to be making others as well. I'm going to try to make, well, I don't want to give a number because you never know if you'll make the quota, but I'm going to try and make quite a few by Friday to have them ready for the Friday drop. And that way they'll be available and ready to be shipped in time for St. Patrick's Day. Let's see if I can get this cut this way now. Okay. And this is actually maple that I cut from my maple tree in my backyard when I had to take it down. So when I took it down, I cut a bunch of blanks for sticks. Let me show you where we're at so far. Get the sawdust off of there. Okay, some sawdust, not much. Okay, let's get back to it. So here's where we are now. And you can see on this side, the outline. That's going to be the rough shape for the ball stick, or the knob stick rather. And it's just a little one, because my nephew's just a wee little guy. He's just a tiny little thing. He's a little cutie. All right, now let's see. There is a bit of a knot on the back of this, so we shall see how this stick plays out. Nope. Hopefully it doesn't break, but you know what? It does happen. It's when you make things, you are going to break things. It is just impossible not to. All right, so let's get that in there. Now I'm going to get my rasp. Right, there it is. This is actually the main rasp I use. This is Shinto, and it's made in Japan. Here, I'll show you so you guys can read it. Here's a Shinto right here, and it's made in Japan. It's a fantastic tool for this, and it removes a lot of mats and quickly. And some will cut the knob end to shape before they start rasping it and whatnot. I messed up a lot of sticks doing that, so I just decided to get it somewhat close and work on getting it super close as I continue my journey into handmade things. And with this one, I might actually get it only so far, then take it to the old 2x72 belt sander. That thing can really speed up the process for a lot of things. I need to get some new sanding belts, come to think of it. But even though I do have the big old belt sander, the coveted 2x72 belt sander, I still use a lot of hand tools. Some people like to do everything with power tools, and I get it. You know, it just depends on the person, what their vibe is. Power tools, though, there's an old saying, power tools make power mistakes, and man, do they. The amount of stuff people have destroyed, me included, with power tools, I just have piles. Piles and piles. Tighten it up a little bit. All right, and over here on YouTube, we've got Tiffany Hall saying hi. Hi, Tiffany. How are you today? Happy early St. Patrick's Day. Now I'm going to switch to the not so aggressive side of the rasp, get some of these more aggressive gouges out before I take it to the belt sander. Okay, and let's see where I stand on. You can see so far, you can see it's starting to come to the final shape right here. And I'm going to start working on both ends of this. And hopefully I don't destroy anything along the way and make some bad gouges, which I have done before. It's just a part of it. Can't win all the time. All right. And sometimes when you're working on it like that, you'll just break the bark right off. Sometimes it depends on the species too. And maple is one of those that's probably the best or biggest offender I've experienced so far with that. Some species you can like come at it from any way you want, and it's like it'll never seem to be affected by it. Maple though, nope. It takes personal offense to it. Let's get that in there and retighten it. All right. Okay. Brush this out a little bit. These are usually not too easily clogged up. Other rasps, like I have, it's also made in Japan. Those can be, they can clog up a little bit easier. Just the nature of the design, I guess. And with this being hollow or see-through, whatever you want to call it, transparent, it doesn't clog up near as fast or as bad. And when I'm all done with all the shaping, I gotta take it to the hand sanding part. And after that, I add my special sauce. And then I'll be sealing it in varnish. Get that wood out of the way. Get these little cigarellos out of the way. Okay. There we go. And as you work it, you just kind of get a feel for how you want it to look. And you just work at it little by little, one stroke at a time. And it cost me a dime. You know it's me when I come through your town. And that is a song by Johnny Cash that he wrote, or at least I was inspired by a song by Johnny Cash. And he wrote that song one piece at a time from working in the auto industry in my hometown in Detroit. And he worked for 2 weeks. And he said, nope, this is not for me. And he wrote a song about it. It became one of his biggest hits. He even had a vehicle made inspired by the song. So here's where we are. So far, we're getting there. And like this right here, I'm going to do a little bit of wood filler. Might even do like a fun color. I got some, I think I have red and orange. I might even do orange because, St. Patrick's Day, green, white, and orange. Okay. Oh, hey guys. Got some, what's this? Let's see. I don't even know what the message is, but the one and only Nicole, the message was I don't know, they won't even let me see it for some reason. Let's see. Let's do all messages. Okay. Gianna Spalding says, hi, hello. And then Push69, that kind of branch will make an awesome pipe. With the hole in it? Yeah, I guess it actually could. And you ever smoke a pipe? Yes, I do like tobacco pipe. I actually just bought some pipe tobacco. And yes, that rasp is like one of the coolest tools I have ever been introduced to. And it was really affordable, which is what surprised me. The Japanese just got a way with working with wood. That's just all there is to it. They just got skills that pay the bills. All right, now I'm gonna have to be careful on this side. Let me see, did I get all the messages? I don't want to ignore you guys. Actually, I'll show you the tobacco I just got. In fact, throw this down here. Do a quick little break. Okay, I got 3 little tins of pipe tobacco. I got, let's see, and they smell amazing. I've never smoked any of them yet. I've got Sweet Killarney, Irish Flake, and Irish Cask. And Irish Cask actually smells very much so like a smoky Scotch. I'm really stoked about trying that one. And Irish Flake, I have no idea how I'm going to smoke that. It's like, it comes in like little sheets of tobacco. If you've had that before, rock on. Maybe throw me some pointers. Oh, just broke off more bark. We're going to break off this bark too. See if that, there we go. And there we go. And let's see if I can get this shaped up real nice. I actually also just started another channel that's all things tobacco related because I love cigars. I do enjoy a pipe. And it'd be really cool to make my own tobacco pipe. I was thinking of going a very, very retro style one. Just a one piece. I'm not sure. I think I might make it out of ash wood. Be like kind of a pioneer frontier style. All right, come on. All right, now let's go back this way. This is just one of the sticks I'm starting on. I got a whole bunch of them. I want to get every one of them done. I don't know if I'll be able to, but that's my goal. I think I have 12 on deck, if you will. Some baseball lingo for y'all. All right, we'll call that for this aspect of it. Oh, I got a little bit more right. Yeah, right there. Okay, get in the vise. All right. Actually, we'll see if I keep any of this bark on here. I might leave some. We shall see. All right, so let me get this rest out real quick. And let's see where we are at. So, rudimentary, before I got any real finishing done on it, this right here is the basic walking stick, knob stick right here. Just a little ball end. Yeah, that might be where I take it for now, and I'm just gonna leave it and then take it to the belt sander. But here you guys go. Here's a walking stick for my nephew. I gotta straighten it out and make it as straight as I can for the little guy, and he'll have his very own walking stick. I actually just made some for his parents as well. They're all big into hiking, so I figured it'd be really cool to have him have a walking stick along with his parents. And who better to have one from than your own aunt? Now, that's exciting. And then from my own backyard. Actually, come to think of it, they got a peach tree in their yard. I need to get some of that wood. Fruit woods are my absolute favorite when it comes to making sticks. And, oh, let's see. This stick, let's see if this will be viable. This one got hit with the, what do they call them? Ambrosia beetles. Let me see if I can show you guys. Well, the crack is not from them, but you can see how the bark is kind of getting bad there. So this is going to be, this might be firewood. Let's see how far I can get this to go. And it looks like it does go into critical areas. Yep, see that just coming right up, and see the sawdust. It's almost like confetti. See if I can get this piece off right. Yep, see? All that is from the ambrosia beetle. The little buggers, they won this one. Oh man, they tore this stick up. I still might be able to make a stick out of it. You know what? Let's give it a shot. Why not? I'm right here. I'll just throw it in the vise and see what I can do real quick with it. Oh, did I just hear more crack? I just heard more Okay, what cracked is that's fine. That's okay to crack. That's no big deal. All right, let's see. Get this guy stuck in there real good. All right, and then let's see. Okay, so Hush69 says, awesome. I live in Indiana, just south of Indianapolis. I'm going to start a knife sharpening service this year. I'll let you know if when I do. I just ran across you and love you. CAL Brasilia are my favorite cigar. Okay, I've had those for sure. All right, Hush69, I made some sticks out of ironwood saplings. Turned out beautifully. How did you get ironwood saplings? That's very interesting. That is, do those even grow up in the Midwest? I thought those were like a desert. All right, let's start with cutting it like right here. All right, almost there. The cool thing about mulberry is the heartwood is almost like a neon yellow. That's actually how I found out that last summer I lost about 100 sticks because the little buggers had these little yellow piles of sawdust. And let's see if we can do a quick rasping on this and see what it looks like. All right. One of the things people don't know about walking sticks, I gotta put these files away, is that, well, a good walking stick is seasoned a good long while. My sticks are usually 6 months to 3 years, depending on the species. And a good seasoned stick is actually very strong and very light. There is a belief, though, that walking sticks made out of wood weigh like 20 pounds. I don't know where that myth came from, but it's definitely perpetuated, especially in the hiking community. I don't get it. All right, let's see if I can tighten it up a little bit more. There we go. It's like they got the sapwood, and that was it. I think that's actually all they eat is sapwood, the ambrosia beetle. They can make a really fine dust, though. It's basically like a talcum powder. That's what it comes out to be. Come on, get out of there. And some people even like beetle damage. Just gives them a more, I don't know, antiquated vibe, I guess. As they say, it takes all kinds to make the world go round, and that is the truth. All right, let's go this way. Nope, not yet. Looks like they did a tunnel right through, which is strange. Like I said, they're most known for... Is that one of those little larvae in there right now? It actually looks like it. I think I just knocked it out onto the ground. A little bugger. Guy's eating my wood. Let's see. I'm going to try and dig that out a little bit. Let's see. Get that out of the way. Where are you, little knife? There you are. There's definitely dust in there, whatever it is. It looks like I get a little bit more. Oh yeah, there we go. There's the tunnel. Where does it go to? These little critters can get through some wood fast too. They're tenacious little guys. They are determined. I gotta hand it to them. It's like what is it? The carpenter? Is it a carpenter bee? Those things. Oh my gosh! I saw one land on my front porch, and it dug a hole into the wood so fast. I just didn't even. I was like, "What the heck just happened?" And it had a little sawdust trail coming down and everything. That was pretty wild to witness real time. You know, we're gonna end the live here over on Rumble. We're gonna go live over on TikTok because TikTok likes to scold me for smoking cigars live on air. Okay, let's see. Hosh69 says, ironwood trees are along creeks in southern Indiana where I hunt. They are like a twisty textured beech tree. I love walking sticks from them. Very interesting. All right, so close the stream. There we go. I had to close it like 3 times. It kept asking me if I wanted to close it. And I'm like, yes, I want to close it. Actually, while I'm at it, I'm going to light up one of my cigars. And it's going to be, this is actually a Brasilia cream. And I got it from cigarbid.com. And that's a dangerous website. You can spend a lot of money there very quickly. Okay. All right, and TikTok, here I come. Come on now. There we go. All right. Go live. Change my picture. While we're doing that, I'm going to bite off the cigar end. Where's my matches? Someone will say, show your cigar some respect and light it with a match at least. Oh, I got that covered. I guess you get extra cool points if it's a strike anywhere, which these are. All right. There we go. Now I'm a sucker actually for budget cigars and like cigars that come in big packs. I like the individual nice ones too, but I like these as well. All right, let's get back to this. Well, yeah, these are they're actually not bad if they get a good rest on them. These have been, I think, like a month in the humidor. Tupperware, I actually use Tupperwares, little Tupperware containers. And I'm actually impressed at how well they work. Someday I might actually get a wooden humidor, but I don't know. We'll see. Not anytime soon. Let's just call it. That was weird. Okay, then. I guess that's how it's going to be. Who69 says, what is your tobacco channel? I'll sub on that also. I only have one video up so far, and it was my introduction. And it is Clubhouse Smokes. Clubhouse, one word, and then Smokes. And I'll be probably doing a video on, I have these two, which these are also pretty good. And they come in packs of 50. I got Aaron Gobra, Irish Cream and Irish Coffee. They are both like awesome. Here's why they are so awesome. They're not only are they good, but they come in little packs of 50. And like if I go to like a concert or something and I can bring, I don't know, a few of these because I don't smoke cigarettes, but I still want to get air. These are a really nice way to go grab some air. And they're incredibly good conversation starters. I couldn't believe people were just coming up and talking to me. Me and the security guard like became buddies, and he fist bumped me at the end of the night and said something like "Stay cool, kid" or something. It was really cute, and it was all because of these little cigars. Because they thought I was all smoking something else, which I don't smoke that. I only smoke tobacco. That's it. All right. I need to make myself actually a cigar rest. That's like the number one thing I do not have in here. And as you have seen, maybe I don't know how well it shakes on your end, but on my end, like if I hit like a rough spot, like I see the camera like shake back and forth. And yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, okay, let's get back to this. I might even make this one to put on my wall. I don't have any on my wall yet, and I've always been like, since I started doing this, like these can make really cool decorations. And I am Irish, and this would be a cool little nod to one of my ethnicities, because I am, what am I, Polish, Irish, and Scottish. All right. Now we'll call that good for now for a rough size, or a rough shape. And then we'll get this little critter in for this side and do a rough shaping. Oh, there's more tunnel from that little bugger. I'm definitely going to take this to the old belt sander and see what I can do with it on that as well. Let's get this top side brought down a bit. And same thing with this one. I'll just throw some fun colored wood filler in there. Some people get really creative with the wood filler on some of the flaws that they want to make more, so it's like a more rounded piece. And I've seen some actually pretty cool takes on it. And like I said with mine, I think I got red and I got orange. And with these, I'll probably be doing orange for St. Patrick's Day. Although some may not appreciate the orange, but it is a part of the flag nonetheless. And for those that are not aware, do you guys know the history of the Irish flag and why it is green, white, and orange today? It's actually kind of a sad story, but there's a lot of sad stories in Ireland. They have a very sad history. So the reason the Irish flag is green, white, and orange is in their sad history. They've had some very bad fighting between two groups, the Protestants and the Catholics. And the Protestants are represented by the orange, and the Catholics are represented by the green. And the white on the flag that's in the middle, and the reason why it's in the middle is because that is the peace that they someday can bring the Protestants and Catholics together and have peace in Ireland again someday. It's a touchy subject for some, but it is world history nonetheless. And the harp on the original flag that was just green, it was just a very beautiful green, deep hunter's green kind of. And that original harp, which is called O'Brien's harp, came from the Scandinavian invasion when they had De Bruyne's harp, which was from, I think, Denmark or Sweden. And over time, and through the mixing of cultures, and then De Bruyne then turned slowly into O'Brien, and the harp was thusly named O'Brien's harp. And there's some fun facts for you of Irish history. And if anybody wants to see a movie that tells, as some have said, the reality of what happened between the Fenians and the English, there's a movie called The Wind That Shakes the Barley. It is very good. It is very sad. But it's supposed to be a very accurate telling of those sad, awful times in Ireland. But I will tell you, it is a hard one to watch. It is very brutal. And then when the Irish fled Ireland during the famine, they came to America. And that is when my family came here during the famine. Now, oh, there is a little larvae in there. You little bugger. Well, you're getting evicted soon, buddy. Find new woods. That means they're potentially still alive. And my sticks, I might even need to put the rest on hold and not cut any for like a year. That's a bummer. Or find some kind of spray. I just don't like using any kind of like bug killer or anything. Very toxic stuff. All right. All right, let's see where we're at on the shaping of this little guy. So you can see getting a little bit of a nub. Not too crazy. but getting there. And I don't know if you guys can see. It's very hard. There's a little dot in there. That is a little ambrosia beetle larvae. Need that little guy to vamos, find a new home. All right. Oh, there's some more bark. This little critter's been feasting on this stick. Oh, little buddy. Nature can be brutal. All right. What time is it right now? It is 3:35 on my end, in my part of the world. Actually, where you are in Indiana, what time zone are you in? My uncle lived in Evansville. And Evansville, I think, had their own time frame or something that was like, I think it was like between like Eastern time, Central time, and then they called it like Evansville time or something like that. Have you heard of that? Or okay, Hoosh69 says, I subbed to the other channel too. Glad to be a fan. See you later, H. Hey, you have a fantastic one. Tuesday. Have a great Tuesday. All right. Well then, I'm going to try and shape this a little more. Almost dropped my whole stogie. Now that would have been a bummer. All right, now I'm going to do some. I'm trying to get it to. Oh, I got to get that. I use a towel on my vise so I don't put the teeth mark from the jaws, or the jaw marks. What are you going to call them? Let's see if I can get this. There we go. Let's try that. These little teeth, if it bites, they dig right into your fingers. And that's what it just did. As I understand it, they have a bit of a different style. They're from Northern Ireland, or North Ireland, I should say, and Southern Ireland. Whereas in the North, they're fans of a bit smaller of a knob end. I'll show you. I think I actually got one over here somewhere. I know I have one. I just don't know exactly where it is. What are you? You are a stick that I have not made yet. I can't find it right now. Maybe I'll find it later. But there's that style that I was just talking about that I don't have an example for. And then I got this style right here. And this style is just a more classic style Irish, knob end. And this, I actually think is, I'm not sure what species this is. It was a fall, or not a dead fall, but it was a fresh cut from some arborists that were in a park that I go to where I forage. And they had piles of these freshly cut branches, and I was going through them, and this is one of the ones I found. And I whittled it down to 3 species, and it's rowan, hazel, or holly. And this is really quite heavy, strong, and stout wood. And right now it's at a staff length. I think it's 49 inches, but I'm always willing to cut them down to size. But this to me is like the most pristine stick. I just love this thing. Do with that little stick. I'm gonna paint this content red. Okay. since I'm working on this, I'll just show you guys with this one anyway. See where we're at now. We're getting there. See, now we're getting there little by little, getting more into that shape. But I think I'm going to come across the top a little bit more, get a little bit more around. So I'll put this back in this way, and I'll be working at it from the top side. All right. Now I'm going to go over to Instagram as well, see who's kicking alive over there. And let's see. Call it stick making, because that's what I'm doing. And of course I spell it duck making. I don't know what that was about. Someday I'll learn how to use swipe. Someday. Okay, now, like I said, I'm gonna take some off the top, and oh yeah, we'll be good. We'll do that. Because I'm working around a beetle hole, I'm basically just coming around it. If I go across it too hard one way or the other, that could actually like blow it apart, you know what I mean? Same as me time-wise, very cool. Let's see. Oh, that's starting to look good, looking better. Looking like a proper stick. Almost. Okay, now let's see. There we go. Getting there. Like a proper little knob stick now. This is one of those. I'm going to keep the ends on. Some of it might cut them down a little bit further. But this is just a little guy. And like I said, in the north of Ireland, they will, make these a little bit smaller. Or this size. But they like a smaller knob end on theirs. I don't know why. It's just, stylized differences. Hi, Desert Blade Works. Hi, how's it going? All right. Let's go with the big guy. Let's go with this one right here. This will actually could be a walking stick, I guess, but this would make a really nice shillelagh. This is a beast right here. I don't know what species this is. This is another one of those live cuts that I got from one of those piles. So for this, I'm going to do like I did with the little one. I'm going to draw a rough shape. I'm using soapstone. Actually, we'll come down here further. And we'll just color in this whole area that I'm going to make into a knob stick. And then when we're done, you see, that'll be the knob end and this will be cut off. And this one even be one, I don't know if I'm going to make this shillelagh or walking stick. It could be a walking stick for the right height person. You need to be a wee critter because this is not going to be very big. Let's go with, yeah, we'll cut it off like right around here. All right, now it's close. I'm going to hold it and do long, slow cut. I don't want to hit the bark. Let's start it. There we go. So now I didn't hit the bark, which I actually still almost did. Is I'm on nuts. I knew what species this was because this is really a beastly stick. But they were just piles and piles of these fresh cuts at the park I foraged at. So what I do know is it's a nice strong hardwood. All right. I set that there. Let's get to rasping. I still got some hanging around. By the way, Rachel, Detroit, Michigan. This is Forge with Femme. This is where we're going to start the rough shaping. Get that nice classic shape in there. All right, now back to this side. This rasp, it really does just get through this material at a really fantastic rate. One of the cooler tools I've ever been introduced to. Introduced to by a fellow stick maker, in fact. I think this stick has been seasoning about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And if I can, we'll see how this bark plays. I'll keep as much of the bark on as I can. I like a real heavy bark look. All right, now let's do a little bit more on this side. Of this rounding, get it rounded. Actually wonder, curious now what species this is. I have to get a picture of this. See if I can get the Google to identify it for me. We'll work it around a little bit. Get to this side, and you can see ever so slowly it's starting to come to shape. Slowly but surely. All right. Time is it? Oh, you know, we'll go to a solid 4 p.m. Why not? Hey, it's about 10 more minutes. And then I'll be working on these the rest of the day. Just not live. Actually, let's pull this back a little bit so I can get a better angle on it because I keep hitting the vise a bit. And that starts to hurt. Take my jacket off in a minute. That's quite a workout. You know, when I smell it, it actually smells a bit like oak. I don't know if it is oak, but that's what it smells like. I don't know my barks too well. Not for that many species. Certain ones, but not many. I mostly know fruitwoods. And I will take this at some point to my big belt sander. But for now, I'm earning these. Very good. Now I'm flipping over to the finer grit on the rest to get rid of some of those more aggressive marks. Let's see where we're at. All right, shake off the sawdust. All right, so you can see it's starting to get that traditional shape to it. And I'm going to be coming around and rounding this off as well. This is a beast right here, like I said. This one is going to be one tough stick. It does need a little bit of straightening. Not much. You can see this right here and just bring it back that way a bit. Oh, it's got some chainsaw marks. Have to deal with that. Usually with that, I just take like some light sandpaper. Keep it a part of it. It's a part of its life before I got to it. All right, now, big ash. Ash down. All right, blown off. Actually, that is frustrating. Might have to redo it. I'm gonna keep turning this. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Okay, good. I'm all caught up. All right, back to it. This part you got to be extra sharp because you're working around the bark end, around the handle. And sometimes I'll actually like remove the bark a fair way down, and then I'll paint the rest black. It's just, you just get to have fun with these, whatever way you want. Maybe someday I'll take up engraving or carving. Some people do some really incredible stuff with their sticks. This is hard, whatever it is. This is some tough wood. Interesting little fun fact, though. One of my favorite woods to make sticks out of is actually mulberry. Mulberry actually is harder than oak, both red and white. I don't know about others, but it is harder than red and white oak. And it is also, if I recall, harder than the blackthorn that the Irish are famous for. I need to take a break with my arm. It is tired. Anyways, how you guys doing today? It is almost 4 o'clock, and I'm almost done being live. Like I said, I am Rachel. This is Forge of Femme. I'm covered in sawdust. I'm also a blacksmith, bladesmith, whatever you want to call me. And this is a Bowie knife I'm currently working on right now. And I need to actually start grinding on this. And this is going to be a part of my workload this week. But to show you guys, I can make blades. I made this Bowie from a file that's an R for my first name, Rachel. And I made this from a big old beastly file. And I made ash handles for it. And this is also made from a file. And I'll show you guys the difference in size. Look at these two guys. And this one I use, like, I swing it around my yard like a crazy person to cut down branches and stuff. I'm sure my neighbors think I'm crazy, but that's a good thing, right? You want your neighbors to think you're a little cuckoo. Keeps, everybody honest. Right around by the handles where you got to be extra careful. There we go. Getting around it little by little. And before I go, I'll show you guys the progress I've made. And here's where we are. Getting there on a good old-fashioned Irish-inspired walking stick, or shillelagh, whatever you want it to be. Yep. This is one of the ones that I'll be dropping on Friday. Like I said, I think this is white oak. I don't know. It actually doesn't really matter. When it comes down to it, what matters is if the stick is very thoroughly seasoned, which this is. And then it matters if the species, if it has a relevance to you. Some just like to collect different kinds of wood. Some don't mind if it's unknown. Some do. But with that said, I am Rachel. This is Forge with Femme. And you guys have a fantastic Tuesday. And I'll be live tonight, I think. I think I'll be live at either 7 or 7:30. So come on back. I'll be working on sticks again. I could even be working on the Bowie I forged. We'll see. It just depends on what's going on at the time. But yep, you guys have a fantastic Tuesday. Peace.